Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Laurel Park. Today at the races, Dave Rodman in for Callie Francois, along with Keith Fustel from Equibase here to bring you through the Friday program here at Laurel Park, October 25th, and a good streak of weather here in Maryland, Keith. The temperature in the mid-60s, a little chilly in the morning, but warms up in the afternoon. Sunny skies, very light wind out of the south today. And Keith, looking forward to a late pick 5 carryover and a nice rainbow pick 6 carryover, thanks to some decent prices yesterday.
We've got some targets, no doubt about it. Yeah, and forcing that late pick 5 carryover. Don't Tell Kelly at 47.20 in race 9. Skip Through the Fire at 22.60. They combined for a $2 late double over 500. So you got to like the value that's to be had here at Laurel Park. These races are challenging. Hopefully you played along. We did catch that late little exacta boxes. We kind of tell you, that's kind of how you want to work some of these picks in that last race. That paid good. I think it was 190 for a deuce.
That was the never give up play, and finally came through and got you a nice little bankroll to shoot for that late pick 5 today here at Laurel Park. All right, let's get right to the action.
All
right.
right.
What do you think?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Early pick 5, late pick 5, both of the 12% takeout. Remember that early pick 5 has a mandatory payout. The late pick 5 is the carryover pick 5, and always with carryover potential there, and a 12% takeout. Well, in the opener, scratch the 4 and Trust, Keith, at a mile and a 16th. I couldn't find much speed in the race, but you went for a horse. I don't think he'll be on the lead, right? You think he'll come off the pace there and Dare Divide?
That was a key scratch, the 4. They kind of, I maybe should have flip-flop, but I've got faith in Linda Albert. And Trust, I thought, was going to go ahead and be able to kind of force the issue of Pudge Boy Palace, who looks to go right to the front here and is capable at the 2-turn distance. But Dare Divide stretching out to 2 turns has a win and had some, a little bit of issues out of the break last time, out a little bump around leaving there at the 1-turn mile. Against an okay field, Shoot the Messenger is going to just get up. Dare Divide at 54-1 this day. Worked out a trip 3 to 4 wide, made this steady progression into it. Looked like a winner, Dave. And, man, for those long shot players, they suffered a brutal, brutal beat. As Shoot the Messenger was able to sustain and just get the bob late. Dare Divide challenging in between. But it was, I thought a good effort. He's paired up, not really paired, but he's run 3 credible tries going long on the main track, lower level. But off of this number, this 65, a top last time out, Linda Albert recently, 3 for 8, 38% with these conditional claimers, running a top and coming back on the main track. ROI is $4.
A lot of times you look at the horses going a mile and they stretch to a mile and a 16th. It doesn't translate. But this horse has run okay at a mile and a 16th before.
You look at the internals too, Dave, 23 and 247 flat. He's only a few lengths back out of there. You're looking at the field here. Nobody has any other real speed except Pudge Boy Palace. The shorter run into the turn, so fairly short, but able to save ground, and I think that will help Dare Divide's chances to kind of steadily progress and maybe reel in Pudge Boy Palace late.
Yeah, I had some trust issues with Entrust, but he's out. And now with him out, really, it looks like Pudge Boy Palace is the speed. But can I trust him? Coming off of a tougher race against Cinderblock on a sloppy track, right? He didn't care for the off-going. It appears at least that off-going and the company that day. Drops in for 7,500. He's wired the field 2 back with the same rider, Tori Alba aboard. But, again, the trust issues. He was a vet scratch at the gate back on June 23rd. Gave him some time. He came back to win in August. Now they're dropping him in for 7,500, but he should be the LOL, Lone Lick of Life.
Well, yes. I think he will be in here. And he's shown on occasion that if he's able to get a flow that's fairly relaxed, once he gets that pressure, he kind of digs in and keeps on going toward Alba riding well.
Race 2 out of the Fort Marcy turf course at 5.5 furlong. Second wire finish. Scratch 7, We Be Shockin'. The 11 draws in Sunshine Charlie. Scratch 12, Silardi. And the 13, Lieutenant Stan in race 2 of the afternoon in this little abbreviated sprint. It appears to be a decent pace developing here. And you've got a pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, here's the early pick 4. It's very affordable, $16. Two deep in here with Majestic Eagle and Be Determined. We've got a video for that one coming up. Single in race 3 with the 7. Attack mode here, Brittany Russell and Institution with Tori Alba. Spread, race 4 and 5. 4, 5, 7, and 10 in race 4. That's the Phillies and Mares, the other than going 5.5 on the turf. Wrap it up in race 5, 1, 4, 5, and 9 for a $16 early pick 4 ticket. That's a spread race as well. We've got a little stat here for English Daddy in race number 5.
All righty, race 2. You went with Be Determined?
Yeah, we go right to the video. This is a 2-back race, Dave, for Be Determined for Suzanne Stettinius, and we talk about it. Later in the year, this 7-year, we're going to go ahead and drop from a 2 other than on September 11th out of Delaware. We're going back to the Colonial race. This horse makes a good run. Boats are rocking. We know how good that vet is, sprinting. Works through in between horses. Does Be Determined, gets that flow and runs into the speed. Closes up very nicely, almost 3 lengths to the final 1/8 of a mile to just miss. In front of Lucci, a key horse in these starter types. Be Determined gets flow in here. There's multiple horses that want the lead, maybe need the lead. Be Determined, blinkers coming off. He's been fine with blinkers off in the past. I think he's going to make a solid run here to maybe close out his turf campaign for 2024. He might be able to stretch and get one more.
6 Majestic Eagle, a 9-year-old who also could get a good flow in here. Now, I know he's got a lot of route races on his form.
Yeah.
You look back at his life history, he's mostly run turf long, but he's got a race way back. He's won $500,000, 6 wins. 2 of those wins have come this year. So as a 9-year-old, he's in his best form, it appears. He was grade 3 stakes place at 6.5 down the hill at Santa Anita back in the day when he ran out in California. So don't let the distance races fool you on the form. He's a horse that is fit right now, good right now, and has a good pace set up in front of him today.
Sharp right now, a trainer you have to pay attention to. Hits at a good strike rate, Michael Simone. Yes, the 3-back race going 5/8 works for me, was closing into that flow. Phantom Smoke, I should say. The 4 you've got in the mix is one of these speed types going out there. I think Marathoner, if you're looking for that horse at a big number, 20-1 on the morning line, might come down. Well, it shouldn't come down a touch. We've got a 30-1 that was scratched out of here in Weeby Shackett. This horse has a win over this turf course, a 70 buyer, but also on the go back, a 78 at Delaware, going 5/8, beating an okay group. This horse has a chance to jump up and has done it in the past. I would not leave this one out of your Exactus tries and supers looking for that big number, because I think he's going to like what's going on up front.
Well, I mean, speed in the race, is Phantom Smoke maybe the speed of the speed? I mean, he was very, very quick back in his prime.
Yeah, like what I see to the inside. It's got some speed here coming for Dan Ward. Island Delight on an occasion can go ahead and force the issue. Red Devolution. Yeah, maybe enough to just kind of be a little bit of a pest. I think it's going to be solid. Phantom Smoke has proven over the turf, getting, handling some pressure and extending it at the 5.5 distance. But I think this race goes to somebody from just off the pace. Let's look at our key horses here, Dave. The 6 and the 10, Majestic Eagle, and Be Determined. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the top 2, I could have flipped them as well. Race 3, scratch the 2-passage east out of there. 7 furlongs, maiden, $20,000 claiming in race 3. Kick off another pick 3, and Keith's going to Institution. I couldn't find much excuse with this filly. First out, maybe you saw something I didn't, other than maybe she needed the race, and she's dropping.
I've got a little AB here, against bias, against the grain on the 21st. Outrun 5 wide. The speed catch kind of got out there and kept on going. A little bit of late life. I just think the class drop. When she goes and attacks Brittany with these maidens, she usually gets the job done. I just don't see a whole lot out of here. Nobody's really run particularly fast. You've got a little question mark on this firster, number 4, Chatalani Spring. There's dirt there, but it's been a little bit of a turfy lean with some of the siblings as well. Milosevic has had a few firsters run well over the last 6 months. Main track and dirt. Pay attention. Getting Toledo could be a little bit of a tell for the first-time starter. But I think Institution will be able to kind of ramp up enough run from off the pace to get it done.
Yeah, I took a shot here with blinkers on with Acheron.
Okay.
Tim Hills usually has some success when running in Maryland. With a decent win percentage, a lot of horses in the money. Reaching out to Jorge Ruiz aboard on the dirt for Acheron. His last 2 races on the turf, but now back to the dirt. She did have a sibling who won on the dirt, so I'm leaning maybe with the blinkers on. Decent effort, 2 races back. I thought the race debut at Monmouth was a pretty quick race as well for the level. I know for Jersey breds, but some changes here and a change of surface and a change in class, perhaps some maiden special weight open down to 20.
Okay.
Just like your horse is dropping to 22.
We both have the 8 in the mix.
Yeah.
Hold on. Didn't run particularly fast in debut. That number doesn't really stick out, but did encounter some trouble. Do we have that video? Here we go. Great. Thank you so much. Broke in a big field. Broke okay. Couple lengths back early, drafted back, and then starts to try to make a little bit of a run, but unfortunately he's going to run into some traffic around the quarter pole, and that's just enough. Swinging out and making a run through the last 1/8 of a mile, willing enough, didn't gain a ton of ground. But I did believe that race produced a winner, Dave. That's going to be good enough for me. So hold on. I think is going to have to step things up, turning back in distance, changing back to the main track. But against this group at 7/8 of a mile, the grinding style just might work.
We've seen that replay movie many times before. You watch Delaware, right? Horses 1-2 as they turn for home. Not too many horses pass there unless there really is a pace collapse, or you have a stiff drive kind of race with a low level type runner. So yeah, against what is typically the running style at Delaware, 5/8 to 7 today, a couple extra furlongs, and good video there to show hold on. So I went 6-3-8-7, key 7-4-8 and 3 in race 3.
Okay.
Rainbow pick 6 with a carryover. $10,500, and late pick 5 carryover as well. We'll get to in a moment. There it is, 10-5 to shoot for. 20-cent Rainbow pick 6 starts at race 4, 5.5. Second finish scratch 1, 6, 9, 13. Lily Simone draws in.
Our friend, and I didn't use her today, and watch her jump
That's
up and
exactly
get me.
what I said when I got the scratches this morning on the phone. I went, yeah. I threw in for threw Lily Simone in 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I taking a shot here. We'll get to a video in a second, but I want to talk a little bit about Dissolute to get you started.
Okay.
The Cal Lynch runner. She's 4. She's only had 3 starts. She's flashed some talent. Really did well in that 2-year-old debut. Right, main track. They wanted the turf. They wanted the turf last time after the long break, and all in all, after the trouble, ran okay. When you look at the breeding, just initially, there's not a whole lot there. Maybe this is an angle like Kenny Cox's runner, Don't Tell Kelly, where didn't show a whole lot to me on paper, but got it done. They tried that, this horse was washed off the turf a couple times. This one is today Dissolute. Enough speed, very quick. Dug a little bit deeper, though, into that breeding. Second dam, multiple graded stakes winner going long. Cal Lynch, I trust. I had a little stat for him, Dave. Here we go. Lynch, first-time turf sprints, excluding the first-time starters, 8 for 35 over the last 3 years. That's a 23% strike rate, 295 ROI. Let's go to the video of your top selection real quick. Order of the Phoenix, because this is a horse when I initially looked at the race, and I'm like, that might be just a kick in the pants. Yep. It was ranked, had a brutal trip in behind a rival 2 races back in its North American debut, going long at Colonial. Settled much better. This is the gray in the back of the pack now coming on between horses.
Red cap.
Yep.
Team Valor colors.
Team
gray
Valor.
Horse.
Yep.
Just tipped out. Out in the clear.
Yep.
2 from the outside.
And just not enough of a final push for me. Now, 3rd time here in the States, may follow her. I just don't like how that inside horse kind of got by her. A little bit of a high-headed action. User for sure, but she may be a little bit overbet, and that's what's going to kind of – I just can't throw her on top. She's going to be my exactest, but that was kind of my angle in this race. You've got a couple horses that are real difficult to split numbers-wise. I think value is there for the 4 Dissolute, and it might be there slightly for the 7 Be Inspired for for Brittany Russell. Got it done first time out on the main track at 7/8 of a mile. Now we're turning back and changing surfaces. But by Munnings, a 14% turf sprint. Sire, bottom side. She never tried turf, did O'Carroll. But 2 of the 3 siblings are winners on the turf. Half sib by Practical Joke, I think, is stakes placed. I think they know what they're doing here. I'm going to use that one as well. Apropos looks like the one to me when I really look at it. The blinkers went on. Has made a couple good runs sprinting on the turf, right behind a horse you liked the other day in Ala Brave, right, who won an allowance, 2 other than, and also I think won a state-bred stake not too long ago.
Yeah.
That might be the late runner that I trust the most in here.
Yeah, going back to Order of the Phoenix, I agree with everything you said about it, but Delacour and Team Valor together, they've run 8 horses together, 6 wins.
Oh,
you know, I mean,
take back everything I just said there.
No, I mean, I can see watching that video. You saw her close on the outside. I always wait for that boom, burst in, gallop out.
Yep.
Never really galloped out past those horses there, but it is 3rd time here for Delacour. She has my big vig in the race, really, and had maybe apropos had a race since July, I might have leaned in that direction, right?
Yeah,
But as you mentioned, Ala Breve 2 back, apropos was 2nd. Ala Breve has now won 3 in a row, including the Jamila Stakes. Posted a visually impressive win again here just the other day at Laurel Park. So that makes your eyes lean to that horse. There are 2 winners out of the Ala Breve race and 4 winners total if you go beyond their next out. So very, very strong race there back in June for Apropos, only beating the neck. Who would you take, Ala Breve or the Delacour horse in a match race?
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. I don't know. So there we go. The no race since July. But that doesn't bother me much because trainer is okay. Jimmy Toner with this kind of layoff is okay. He can get a horse fit. Kind of trainer doesn't send a horse out that's not fit. So 5-10, 7-2.
Yeah, I think the speed is going to be here. Dissolute with a good break. Watch Me Disappear. Bobby Leaf, the highest ROI trainer I think in North America, going right now. Had no chance last time when it was on the turf. I think got eliminated at the break. Fluent's an interesting horse. I know we're kind of pick it up and move it on. But the 3-horse for Motion, first time Motion, races that are close enough, and horses in this barn first up, and they hit for about 20%. Another one, it's hard for me to completely leave out of Exactus here in race number 4, but I'm going to rest on maybe the 4 and the 7 if they give me enough value. Here.
Yeah, Lily Simone draws in, as we mentioned.
Yep.
And I meant 5, 10, 7, 12 for me, not 2. So that's correct on the screen. I just misspoke. And Keith has 4, 10, 7, 5. Look at Lily Simone. Trouble. We got trouble right here in Lily Simone City. It seems like she's just always kind of her worst enemy. With a draw on the outside, she could come rolling with a free run out there today and finally get it done.
That would not completely surprise me.
5th race. Pick 5, late pick 5. Here's what you're looking for: 4,137 carryover.
Yeah, that's good.
There it is. And the late pick 5 always at carryover potential. Paid 4 or 5 yesterday afternoon. Keith, give me something.
All right. Well, look at you're going to give us something because I know you struck with a few of these, and you're going to try again today.
And it was a $48 ticket.
It's enough to carry you for quite a while.
Maybe that's the lucky.
You've got like at least
a few bucks left.
Yes.
All right. I couldn't find a single, but I'm going to spread in here. The 5th, 1, 2, 6, 8. 6th race, 3, 10. 7th race, 3 and 9. 8th race, 3, 4, 10. 9th race, whittling it down to the 1 and 3 if you want to snapshot that. And we'll talk about those horses as we go along here just for time's sake. As we're kind of a little bit behind. The 5th race, first 2 was your top pick. I mean, did you find the races wide open as I did? Yeah.
Kind of impossible. There's even a couple firsters in here that could jump up and run big. But it's the fact, and we don't have a video in this race. We can go right for the stat for my top selection. Number 9, English Daddy and Anthony Pecoraro. Thanks, guys. Past 3 years on the dirt at Laurel. 4 for 11, 36%, 7 for 11 in the money with the 2-year-old maiden claimers. ROI is 580, gaudy kind of number there. Granted, you look at the 5.5, the final time of 109 and 3. You just got to question that a little bit. This horse in debut hooked up against Skinny Joey pretty quick. Little fade. Hooked up again, got the better of that one. Kept on going. Unfortunately, a little bit of a drift out, duck out there in mid-stretch. Got the DQ. But I like the way this guy kept going through the gallop out as well. The positional draw out here with some other speed to the inside. To touch, a little bit of a speedy lean underneath when I really broke down the breeding. But that stat kind of got me over the top. Pecoraro, English Daddy, to go ahead and prompt the pace and hopefully hold on.
Yeah, he's kind of got one way to go, right? He's going to prompt to try to kick clear in this spot. The debut run, Let's Have a Party, came back to improve his number, positive. Last out when he got DQ'd, Bobby Ricky Jake came back yesterday to run fourth.
It didn't run terrible.
No.
Got bounced around at the break and made a little 4-wide run upper stretch before flattening ever so slightly. But yeah, that was another factor that kind of put me on English Daddy.
Okay, so 9, 4, 5, and 1. Fear nothing. With the blinkers on, didn't carry through. I thought he was a little bit left leadish last time out in the stretch. World on Fire, the first-time starters. I have to Stormy Irish last for Net Eubanks you have in the mix. And Courageous Mission goes turf to dirt. I think the dam, or do I have it correctly? 4 wins. All 4 wins were on the turf.
Yeah, that's all turf. But that little stat, the 2-year-olds, he's doing well. Robbie, turf to dirt, it's okay. That's a little bit of reach. But the stamina buildup is there at 7/8 of a mile. Wouldn't be a complete surprise for me to kind of roll in late. Yeah, Fear Nothing, second blank certainly works. We'll be up chasing the pace. World on Fire by Frisian Fire. So the other sib was Irish War Cry, Stormy Irish last. I mean, you give a little lean earlier precocity with a Frisian Fire on top of this barn. 14 to 15 in the money at the meet with 4 wins. Yes, that's going to work. Lots of ways to go. Not a whole lot to trust in race 5, but I'm going to lean on a stat with Pecoraro.
All right, I went Bad Mammer Jammer. It was Silliman, 20% turf to dirt. He should be fit after that turf route race. Debut run, I know Fear Nothing beat him, but he used up a lot of energy in the debut. Maybe wasn't quite fit that first run. Used his energy up down the backstretch, rushed early, got tired in that race, got a little leg up on fitness, didn't really stop in his second race on the grass. No. That race has produced 2 winners, so a couple of winners out of there. Silliman, turf to dirt. I'm going to go 2, 6, 8, and 1. In one of the mentioned, I did run into Jose Corrales in the racing office this morning. He's got 2 firsters in here. And the interesting part about the 6 to me is Teal Pachi, first-time starter, the Dam, Appealing Honor, 1 first out, maiden special weight at 7 furlongs.
And the second Dam 1 debut, digging a little bit deeper. Yeah, interesting race number 5.
All right. Yeah. Let's go to the 6. Scratch. In just a moment, we'll do the 6 with our Jackpot Super High 5. I'll give you the scratches there in a moment. First, a commercial break. All right, race 6 is our Jackpot Super High 5 race, mile and a 16th on the turf. Remember, it's a high 5. Pick the first 5 runners there. Race 6. It also starts our late pick 4, mile and a 16th, scratch 2, 5, and alternates 13, 14, 15, and 16. Magical Monday is in. We're now Jorge Ruiz.
Okay, Jorge Ruiz.
Right.
In race 6, another bit of a head scratcher. Interesting that we land on the same horse. We saw Kenny Cox and Bonicelli Racing get it done yesterday. Don't tell Kelly. Had a big number of horses to try to get on the turf. Finally got on the turf and really ran huge. Broke Galward, bumped a little steady, overcame some traffic and surged home. Now, this horse, Roll On Jesse, got the 5.5 in debut, and I thought ran very well behind Stormy Flight. Stormy Flight came back to run big the other day, stretched out, in that off-the-turf race at a mile, and I thought ran quite willing all the way there. So the stamina buildup is there for Roll On Jesse. I'm keying up horses and looking at this stretching out. I think the numbers work enough for me, and not quite sure how this flow is going to be in this race. I do think That's Tap's going to be forward. Other than that, I'm not completely sure. But I like the grinding style of this 10. Maybe they can make it 2 days in a row with a score on the turf.
Yeah, it's horses run on the turf before a debut behind Stormy Flight. Stormy Flight is now 2 for 4 lifetime. Both those wins on the turf. Looks like quite a nice turf sprinter there for Ham Smith. So that stands out. And last out, a nice move, eye-catching move out there, 5 wide on the 1-turn mile. Perhaps a little early, but, I couldn't find any standout stat, pedigree-wise, trainer-wise in here. So I'm going to trust this, that the Kenny Cox Barn Bonicelli Racing are on a little bit of a roll right now, having cashed at 47.20 mutual yesterday. Now, don't tell Kelly. His horses run well both starts. One against a decent turf sprinter, Stormy Flight, and then a bid last time out.
Arctic Outbreak, you've got to come right back to, I think. Toss the last in that off-the-turf race on October the 15th. Both turf races are very good. This, I guess, will be first-time blinkers on the turf. Tried it last time, and maybe because of that little DQ. I tell you, that was a tough little race because the outside horses coming in slightly. Yes, Arctic Outbreak might have came out a little bit more, causing a little bit more contact, but this horse was resolute to the wire. I like the trip. Don't like the 11 post. That's tough for me, but proven is what works. And looking at the horses out of those races, they come back to run okay. Even Radiant Tones didn't run terrible yesterday. Was in the mix past mid-stretch. So Arctic Outbreak, proven at a route of ground, can get it here is at the 2-turn mile and a 16th distance. Dat's Tap, yes, a little bit keyed up in its only turf race, but made it, got the lead, took pressure. I think might have been headed briefly leaving the far turn, came back to get the lead, fade ever so slightly. I think this horse is a forward factor a long way for Samraj Singh. The one, Align by Alliance, limited sample, but not awful on the turf. But look at these stats for Schoenthal. First turf, 648 RI. Sprint the route, 261 RI. There's lots to like from a money side for Schoenthal with these kind of runners. I'll take a shot, throw this one in the mix. I'm interested, we came fairly close. Your stranger here is the 3. I'll let you talk about Lex's Game.
Yeah, Lex's Game I have as the top number in my numbers from October 5th. Horse dueled on the lead and then really had every right to just fold in, but hung in there. Just lost the place in the last few yards to Roll On Jesse after Roll On Jesse made the move. But he tried to dig in there. So that was his first time going the distance, a mile on the dirt, taken off the turf. The first race on the grass, won by Saxton, I thought was a very sharp race and a good time, and finished with good late interest there, you see. A short comment at Colonial. So he's got some upside potential in here, and he's got a good number in my book for Jane Sibeli here. The only thing that kind of, worries me a little bit about this horse is Sibeli is okay on the grass, right? We know, right? It's had some decent turf runners, but usually when they get a little bit older, right? With 2-year-olds, maybe not a dazzling stat, not a dazzling stat. But there's a lot of stats that are a little bit on the low end in here, right? So with that top number, good effort, and dug in down the stretch to finish third.
All right, 10-11-7-1 for me, 10-3-7-1 for Dave. Just remember in that race 6 to 12, Magical Mondays has drawn in. And we didn't even touch upon the 4 the firster, but maybe McKenzie can touch upon that one a little bit later. Let's roll to the 7.
First Monday's the sire is 0 for 6 first-time starters, but only 6, right?
All right.
All right. Moving on here, race 7. Scratch the 1 and the 2. Little Skippy Afternoon heat going 6 furlongs, and I thought another scramble kind of a race here. If B West doesn't show up, I think it becomes a scramble of a race.
Well, B West, we'll go to that video spotlight. Ran quite well last time, but that was at 7/8 of a mile, Dave. We're turning back to 6. And I don't think things are going to be this easy on the front end. 23-4, 47-4, picked it up as he should have through the final quarter of a mile on September the 28th. Look at this race, though, the way he does it handily. We don't dole out the handily comment too often. The Equibase chart colors here, Bill Braswell and myself. So we watch these races close. There's something left in the tank. Turning back, this horse has shown the ability to sit just off the pace and sit off just good paces, solid pace, and move in and keep going. Yeah, the other Kieran horse, Johnny French Fry, that might be the one that goes aggressive. Second off of a long break, first off the claim. Going to be interesting and going to try to go a long way. I did not think you'd come up with this horse, but you've got Nadude in there. I think B West the horse to beat. Nadude is like a value shot for me in here, and I'll let you talk about Nadude.
Yeah, the reason I went is if B West doesn't show up, remember he's avoided claim a couple back. Johnny French, both of them won on the drop right last time out. Then Nadude is perhaps I think the best closer of them all.
Yes.
Trainer Michael Moore has a positive return on investment in dirt sprints here in Maryland.
Yes.
So ships in from Parks for a reason, always with good intent, and has decent numbers if the top pair doesn't show up. And he's a winner at Laurel. Nadude has won over this surface before. Toriel will be sitting in the catbird seat if the pace does fold in the final furlong.
Wide last time, moves inside. You always hear me talk about an outside to inside move with enough positional speed. Toriel can get this one into position and finish up. Been a fan favorite, takes a lot of money. You're going to get value on him today. He's not going to be in that $1.42 to 1 range. I can't see it in race 7.
All righty, 8th race, scratch say 1, just a fair shake. 6 shooters got to shoot in there. That's all I had this morning. I'm sure there's some other scratches we'll give you in just a second there. Keith's going to my horse, Fire Pit.
Yeah.
You are.
I did. I was back and forth, and I've got a negative stat here for poor old Preciado. 1 for 19 with the turf sprint to route. But you know what? I'm sorry, he's got a $3.18 ROI. He struck with a 29 to 1 shot. And I think what you saw is kind of what I saw in watching the race, the Rosie's race at Colonial. The trip was hung out wide, shifted in, back out, really churned on, I thought willingly, behind horses that have gone on to run really, really well, including even the 5th place finisher, or 4th place finisher out of that race. One of the Russell horses went down and ran big. So I think Fire Pit visually to me, stretching out with positional speed and some heart, could be difficult at a good number here, 8 to 1. With Mike Sanchez for Guadalupe Preciado.
Yeah, and Lisa informs me it's 1, 6, 13, and 14. Thanks for that.
1, 6, 13, 14?
Okay. In the 8th race.
All right.
Got them early and had to prepare for the show.
Well, what are your thoughts on Fire Pit? Just the dog fig and it is second blinkers.
Yeah. Well, the Barbadian runner, all the hard ways, both have really good numbers, but on the turf, on the dirt, but on the turf, he's got the top number for me. So I'm going to use him here. And Preciado is okay on the grass. So, I mean, another shipper from Parks shipping down with intent here. So he's got the experience on the grass. The 10,
Justify?
The 10 Justify by Justify has nothing but upside going to a turf route. I thought when it's Saratoga, he was just kind of getting going there for the rally against a restricted company. That was one of those horses where 50,000 or less, I believe, made and sold at the sale. Ran okay in a race taken off the turf, a debut. So the stretch out's going to be okay for him with Cantharos there on the bottom.
Yeah, I watched that race again this morning, and he was kind of urged along to hold Poe behind like 3 horses. But just the fact of the matter, when he worked him out and he kept sustaining, he was a little green left fleet, but he got it done. Won't maybe have to run as hard early, and once he settles in a position, probably could level off. He will be in the exactas. But Fire Pit, real quick, those top 2 finishers out of the Rosie's race came back and ran like big numbers. Keelan running 1-2 down there. So that's our kind of reasoning on that one. Video spotlight, Lordley and That's Mr. Tap out of a race on September the 14th. That's Mr. Tap has had a race since. That's Mr. Tap, the 3, just bounced around, jostled pretty hard out of the gate in those purplish and pink colors, and it has to steady a little bit going into the first turn. So when you're thinking trips, who got the worst of it? Probably That's Mr. Tap. He had a lot to make up. But look at the 7 horses particularly. Lordley got position inside, has to wait, tap the brakes at the quarter pole, is able to kind of find his seam, but when doing so, gets bounced around pretty good.
Yeah, that's Mr. Tap had a brutal trip that race, and in coming back to win at 5 to 1. The race was taken off the turf. His second start, I thought, was crazy. I mean, the horse, I don't know how he was 5 to 1 on that race, but good efforts from both Lordley. That's Mr. Tap there finishing up third on the trouble trip on the turf. With 2-year-olds, some stretching out here.
Barbadian runner real
could
quick.
Could this be kind of a boxing race?
Yes, it has to be.
Yeah.
I'd take 1 or 2 horses that you think have some value, top and bottom, with 4 or 5, and get it done. That's kind of how I played the last race last night. Caught that 190 exactly. But Barbadian runner, real quick. Full Sue loves Barbados, who does have a win at 2 turns. I mean, it was 7.5 at Delaware. This horse was against the bias on Maryland Million Day. Ducked in, start. Inside move, check, stretch. I thought high and wide was pretty good on the dirt that particular day. Barbadian runner is a trier and has that turf breeding, being a full to Sue loves Barbados.
And all the hard ways, who I liked with the blinkers on, that same Maryland Million nursery on Maryland Million Day, comes back here trying the turf for the first time. I've seen some of these painters, they either love the turf or don't love it. And the ones that do really like it. So all the hard ways, who I thought would be 1-2 in the Maryland Million nursery, boy, I was wrong. He was 13-1 in there, but he did have an excuse with the blinkers on. It was a quick race, good number too.
Yep, I liked it that day.
On
Wrap
race
it up
9.
here, race 9.
Miles. Second wire finish. Mario Fuentes now on the 5. Tia Mayan scratched the 7. A lot of Moxie, and in my pick, 5 ticket, I think I've got the first Lasix horse and your video spotlight horse and your top pick horse, 1 and 3. So
let's go to the video real quick, and we'll wrap things up here. First to arrive, this was not good. Big field of 12 to wrap it up on the 10th race on the 27th. And we're going to see this in tight start, boom, right there, in some trouble. And then you're going to see, it's the 4 horses particular afternoon, down inside, heading to the turn. Another jackpot that he encounters, or she encounters, unfortunately. Checked along, steady, was a touch rank there going into the turn, and it was all she wrote. Drops well back, but was beaten 11 lengths. All said and done, there's another shuffle going to the 5/16. Following through the binocs, calling that race, was still finishing up with some effort through the final 1/8 of a mile. If we can just get out of the gate first to arrive, Mile might be pushing it, but I think she can separate from this field, and the wire saves her to end the night.
Kind of been kind of a project since the claim for 20. Hasn't quite gotten there maybe through the binocs. She's a little kind of a smallish filly. I mean, so hopefully she'll get a clean trip and not be intimidated too much. Lucky Honey gets first time Lasix in there. I got a good number for her on the turf back against Queen of the Dance. She's only had blinkers last 3, adding the Lasix today, going that 1-turn mile. Beaten 13 lengths last time out, but the race has produced a winner, and the winner of that race accounted for 9 of the 13 lengths, so a runaway winner there at Delaware Park for Lucky Honey. Going to have to use her in the mix, mostly for the sake of a price.
All right.
And didn't really like anybody else. 3, 1, 6, and 4. Oh, Aunt Margaret, after that long layoff, thought ran okay. You know.
She was out there wide the entire way. You know, looked like she was finished at the quarter pole, but found more the last 1/8 of a mile, maybe setting her up well for the stretch out this afternoon.
All right, let's get to the value play best bet for Keith. Best bet value play of the day.
First to arrive. I mean, if we're down, maybe we can bail out 7-2. I think she might come down a little bit because of the scratch, but first to arrive. We're going to need a break, and hopefully we can control things up front.
Majestic Eagle. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, value play.
Your
beat
value
a turn.
play first.
Suzanne Satania, she owes me no money whatsoever. I just think there's enough pace in here. Attack mode, dropping. Flow sets it up. Blinkers coming off. A big run through the final 3/16 to be expected.
All right, for me, best bet value play, I'm going to go Majestic Eagle, the 9-year-old, 6 lifetime wins, but $500,000 in earnings. Has run with some good horses in California. It was Grade 3 stakes placed, sprinting at Santa Anita on the Wayback Machine. Horse seems to be in good form right now. Should have a good flow for a rally here, hoping he can keep his form. He's won 5 races or 6 races life, but 2 of them have come this year. And a value play going to, Keith's top pick, my top pick. With the 2 of us on it, will the horse be that price? I don't know. I got a good number on Fire. Yeah, right. Elimination tactic.
Yes.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do that.
I know.
Yeah, Buddy Boy does that, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he
Old
does.
Buddy Boy. Hey, buddy.
Value anyway. We both picked the horse, Preciado. I have the horse with a good number. Has a little turf experience over the moon. Okay.
All right, you're back again tomorrow, and you're getting ready to give some program changes.
Changes coming up.
All right, good luck, everybody.